Hello and welcome to Brightvale, the Stone Seekers of Brightvale, and episode 3. So, let's get back to it. A lot happened in the past 2 episodes, and let's begin by asking our beautiful Dungeon Master to give us a summary of what happened thus far. So, let's ask exactly that. Me a summary of what happened thus far in this game. Let's see if he doesn't get confused and thinks I'm asking this to the random person. Okay. Campaign summary so far, session 1. Prologue, arrival at Emberfort. You are Belathor? Well, you're starting really from the beginning. Alright. You are Belathor, a dwarf barbarian of level 1 who arrived at Emberfort, the frontier fortress town guarding the passage into the dangerous Umbra-shocked wastes, known as Brightvale. You came seeking to join the adventurers who explore old ruins, hunt abominations, and recover relics. The Stone Seekers are born. At the last Ember Tavern, you met Boren Ironhand, a Deep Delver Company miner who told you about 3 seasoned adventurers who vanished near the Whispering Crags, their camps found intact, no tracks, no struggle. Legends of the Stone Sleepers, ancient beings that may awaken when seals are broken, and Umbraflux, a dangerous phenomenon in the wastes. You formed a dwarven-only expedition called the Stone Seekers to investigate into the wastes. You secured a 7-day travel pass from Sergeant Vaughan, claiming a mining survey to Idle Hollows. Boren couldn't come. He sent 3 dwarfs, Thrain, broad-shouldered leader, Crag, silent, pickaxe, and Dern, watchful, crossbow. You departed Emberfort and headed straight for the Whispering Crags. The abandoned camp. You found the Venturer's abandoned camp, 4 days old, tents slashed from the inside. No outgoing footprints, they simply vanished. Scrambled in the dirt, it was written, "They sing." And loot found, a steel hand axe, 23 gold coins, and a map with a circled location labeled entrance deep in the cracks. The cave and the shard. Following the map, you entered a cave where a humming dark metal shard sat on a pedestal. Inside, 4 kneeling impressions from the Venturers, no outgoing tracks. A 5th set of prints, older, from a limping figure who came, looked, and left through a hidden crevice. Touching the shard triggered a vision. 7 hooded figures of the Ebon Conclave, a seal weakening, 6 pieces recovered, Venturers used as fuel. Current moment. You entered the hidden crevice following the mysterious limping figure's tracks. You stepped through a false floor, made noise, and now if a voice from the darkness has addressed you. Bold of the Venturers to send a dwarf through a crack. You're no seeker, but you carry its warmth. Come forward. Let me see the one who holds the peace. Your shard thrums in response. Crag calls your name from behind. You're at a crossroads. Do you step forward to meet the voice, or pull back? Okay, this is correct, so I now remember everything, and I also have here on the notes, if I remember correctly, exactly, that Boren's a little bitch, because Boren decided not to come and just sent 3 dwarfs. But they're cool, I like these dwarfs, they're my cousins, they're all nice and cool. Yeah, and I have some notes here about the circle divided by a wavy line with 7 stars arrayed around its edges. I think this was something we saw somewhere now on the cave. Okay, so now we have this random mysterious person that's saying that I should come forward and he wants to see the one that holds the piece. I'm assuming this is the limping figure with the 5th set of prints that came, looked, and left through this hidden crevice. I mean, I always trust very much random figures that I find in hidden crevices of caves where magical shards exist and people disappear somehow. So I need to be very trustworthy. It seems like a trustworthy guy, so I think we should go forward and meet. Also, the DM asked me for a persuasion skill check. I think this is obviously a bug. I'm not going to roll this. Bad DM with bugs. I need to fix this. Okay, So I go forward to meet the figure. Always careful and with weapon ready in case the figure attacks. Okay, let's see what happens now. Okay, you take a breath, steady yourself, and step forward to the widening crevice into a chamber beyond. The chart's pale glow illuminates the space, a small, roughly circular cavern, its walls threaded with veins of dark ore that glitter faintly. And there, standing at the far end with arms crossed, is a figure wrapped in a tattered grey cloak. A hood obscures their face, but you catch the glint of eyes watching you from the shadows. They're not tall, about your height, and they lean slightly to one side, favoring their left leg. Okay, so I was correct, this is the limping dude. The figure tilts their head as you enter, studying you. Their gaze drops to the shard in your hand, then back to your face. A dwarf who carries the piece willingly, they say, their voice slow and dry like paper crumbling. You didn't try to destroy it. You didn't run. You came through the crack. A pause. That's more than the four in the main chamber managed. They uncross their arms, and you see a strange blade at their hip, curved, dark metal, not reflecting the shard's light. I left that shard for them, a test. They failed. You haven't. Yet. They take a step closer, and the shard pulses warmly in your grip, as if recognizing this person. Who are you? And what do you know about the Ebon Conclave? Alright, many questions for a strange creature person in the dark of a crevice. So this is the limping person, and he tested the four other venturers apparently. Well, they disappeared, so the test didn't go well for them. Alright, I'm curious. This random person has my curiosity. So I'm gonna say exactly this. You're making many questions, but I don't know who you are. Would you care to introduce yourself to me and my cousins? I need to reference the cousins, they are cool and I love them. Let's see what this mysterious figure says. So somehow he's related to the shard. Is this guy part of the Ebon Conclave? Is he against the Ebon Conclave? Is he part of the deep state? I need to know. Okay, a low, dry chuckle escapes from beneath the hood. It's not a warm sound, but not hostile either, more like someone who hasn't had reason to laugh in a long time. The figure reaches up with a gloved hand and slowly pushes back the hood. The face beneath is dwarven. Oh, a cousin. You'd stake your axe on it. But unlike any dwarf you've seen, the skin is pale, almost grey, marked with fine, faded scar lines that trace geometric patterns across the cheeks and brow. The eyes are striking pale silver, like mica catching torchlight. The brown hair is cropped short, streaked with white at the temples. They look weathered, but not old, aged by something other than years. My name is Haella, they say, Haella the Stone Whisperer. I was a deep delver surveyor once, before I found this place. They gesture vaguely at the cavern around them. That was 7 years ago. I've been in the crags ever since, watching, waiting, making sure the wrong people don't find what's buried here. Their silver eyes fix on you. You found the shard. You touched it. You saw what it showed you. That means you're either very brave, very foolish, or chosen. I haven't decided which yet. Chosen by what? Behind you, you hear Crag's gruff whisper, Stone Whisperer. I've heard that name. She was declared dead 5 years ago. Haella's lips twitch. Reports of my death were convenient. What do you say to Haella the Stone Whisperer? What do I say indeed? Okay, so she's a dwarf. She's been here for 5 years? Where, on this crevice? She's just been on the cave? What does she eat? I mean, okay. I have many questions here. Okay, so she says she's been here watching, waiting, making sure the wrong people don't find what's buried here. Okay. Let's be polite. She's a dwarf, a lady dwarf. And she's a cousin, therefore. Pleasure to meet you. Always happy to find a cousin wherever I go. But I have many questions. What is the Ebon Conclave? And what is this shard? Why have you been, well, kind of guarding it? I'm not sure if she's gonna answer, and I'm not sure I trust her answers, but at least I need to try to get this information. Haella's silver eyes hold yours for a long moment. She seems to be waiting something, perhaps whether to trust you with the truth. She gestures to a flat rock near the wall and lowers herself into it, favoring her left leg. The curved blade stays at her hip, but her hands are visible, resting on her knees. A gesture of peace. The Ebon Conclave, she begins, her voice low. It's not a cult. It's not a religion. It's older than both. She picks up a small stone, turning it in her fingers. Before Brightvale fell, before the Armesian Empire rose and crumbled, before the sundering that broke the world, there was a circle. 7 beings, or perhaps 7 people who became something more. They bound something in the deep hurt, something that could not be killed, only sealed. Oh boy. She tosses the stone aside. The seal was made of 7 pieces. Pieces of what? The records don't say. But they were scattered across the land, hidden in places that would never be found. The conclave was formed to guard them, to make sure the seal was never broken. She looks at the shard in your hand. That's one of the pieces. The conclave lost track of it centuries ago. I found it 3 years ago, buried in the collapsed tunnel beneath the crags. I've been keeping it safe ever since, making sure no one took it to the wrong place. She leans forward. The Venturers, they were sent by someone who knew the piece was here. A faction with the guild, I think, or perhaps a buyer from outside. They found the main chamber, knelt before the shard, and the shard judged them unworthy. It took their essence, fed on them. Oh, well, it can do that. That's great news, I guess. Her voice drops. It didn't feed on you. That means you passed its test. Whether that's good or bad depends on what you do next. The shard didn't eat me. Great news. So, a lot of information. There's a thing. So there's 7 pieces of a thing. And there's a creature, something that cannot be killed. They bound something deep hurt, something that could not be killed. And then the seal itself was made of 7 pieces. And one of the pieces is this shard. And so are they still sealing the thing? Or is it like a key that if we get the 7, we can open the thing? I'm gonna keep questioning. She's sharing information. I have all the curiosity in the world. What is this thing that is sealed? And is it still sealed? Do the shards allow to unseal it if all together? And what do you mean by the shard? I don't want to say eating people, but kinda like feeding on people. Right? I mean, if I'm carrying this thing that can apparently feed on me, I'd rather know what the hell's going on. Haella's expression tightens. She looks down at her hands for a moment before answering. What is sealed? She lets out a slow breath. The old texts call it many names. The dusk that awaits, the singer in the deep, the hunger below. Her silver eyes meet yours. I think was once a god, or something that ate gods. Oh, that's normally very healthy. Either way, it's not dead, it's sleeping. And the seal keeps it asleep. She stands, pacing a few steps, the limp more noticeable now. If all 7 shards are brought together and reunited into the whole, yes, the seal breaks. Whatever is below awakens. The Conclave was formed to prevent that. But something has changed. The Conclave has gone silent. I haven't heard from them in years. She stops, turning a face to you. As for the shard feeding, you felt it, didn't you? When you touched it. The warmth, the recognition. It accepted you. The venturers who came before, they knelt, they touched it, and she gestures vaguely, a hollow look in her eyes. I found their bodies a day later, empty, drained, their life essence pulled into the shard to sustain the seal. She pauses, studying you. But you're still standing. You passed its judgment. That means the shard sees you as a potential guardian, or a potential key. She folds her arms. So now I ask you, cousin, what do you intend to do with it? What do I intend to do with it? I don't throw it into the ocean, onto the abyss. I mean, it feeds on people. Like, how do I hide it? Go to Mount Doom? Throw it into the... I don't know. Jesus. I just wanted to go into explore and get some relics. Now I'm in a whole end of the world conspiracy, not to release the Balrog, to kill us all. What? God damn it. Okay. I don't know. Are you a part of the Conclave? How do you know so much? She's very shady. What's her name? I need to put this on the notes. What's the name? Where is it? Where is her name? Haella the Stone Whisperer. That's a cool family name. I want to be a Stone Whisperer. Just Haella the Stone Whisperer. Shady. She's shady. I think she's telling the truth, but shady. Haella's gaze flickers. The first crack in her composure. She looks away, staring at the veined stone wall. I was not part of the Conclave, she says quietly. I was a deep delver surveyor, like I said. 7 years ago, my crew was mapping a nearly collapsed section in the lower tunnels of the crags. We found something we shouldn't have. Not the shard, something else. A chamber with murals, writing that moves, a door that should not have been opened. She turns back to you, and there's something raw in her silver eyes. My crew, they opened it, just a crack, just enough to let a whisper through. Her voice drops to barely audible. That whisper killed dream of them instantly, turned their minds to ash. I survived because I was at the back of the tunnel, but the song, it got into me, changed me, left these. She touches her faded scar lines on her cheeks and left me with knowledge. Things I never learned. Languages I never studied. I can read the script on the pedestal now. I know the names of the Conclave members. I know where at least 3 of the other shards are hidden. What? She meets your eyes. The seal gave me a purpose. I've been guarding this piece, studying the others, making sure no one assembles them because I know what happens if they do. Her jaw tightens. I've seen the visions. The singer below, waking, rising. The wastes, becoming something worse than a wasteland. Brightvale itself swallowed. She holds your gaze. So I guard. I wait. and I decide who can be trusted. The shard pulses warmly in your hand. The 3 dwarfs behind you are silent, waiting for your response. Okay, so she has knowledge. So she downloaded knowledge from the Whisperer, the song. I'm not quite sure what the plan here is from her side. So I'm gonna ask exactly that, because do we want to go and gather the 7 parts of the seal? That seems unsafe, and we don't want them all together. We don't want to release the kraken that lives underneath the land. So what exactly is your plan? We can't gather all the shards. That would be unwise. So we should hide them. No? This random cavern doesn't seem like the best hiding place. Why did you left the shard here? Because if I can randomly find this, I guess most people could randomly find this. Shouldn't this be locked away? Haella lets out a long, slow breath. A bitter smile crosses her pale face. You're sharp. I left it here because I was testing something. She gestures around the cavern. This place, the chamber with the pedestal, the scripts on the walls, it's a focus point. A place where the seal's power is concentrated. The shard is stronger here, more stable. Moving it carelessly could attract attention. She pauses, rubbing her temple. But you're right. This isn't a permanent solution. I've been guarding it alone for 3 years, but I can't forever. The crags are getting more dangerous, more venturous sniffing around, and the Conclave's silence worries me. She looks at you, her silver eyes sharp. My plan, such as it is, has been keep the shard hidden, study the other locations, and try to find a way to strengthen the seal rather than break it. But I need help. Trust that help. Dwarven help. I see where this is going. She steps closer, lowering her voice. There's an old Deep Delver outpost, about a half-day's march northwest of here, abandoned, forgotten. It has a vault built to hold volatile aether quartz, lined with lead and iron. It might be able to contain the shard's resonance, mask it from our endeavors searching for it. She holds your gaze. I was planning to move it there, but I could use an extra pair of hands, an axis. What do you say? But so we would carry the shard there, or bring the ether quartz line thingy that hold the vault. I guess it's a vault. You can't bring a vault. It's gonna be very big. Think, Belathor. Don't be silly. This seems like a risky plan, and it seems that I'm starting to work against the Ebon Conclave, and I do have the feeling the Ebon Conclave is a powerful society that has people positioned in strong places. Not sure I want to go against them. On the other hand, it's a cousin. It's a dwarf. I need to help my dwarf buddies. I mean, there's a whole dwarf society here. We help each other out. She's limping. She might need help. I guess we're gonna help her. But let's not make this decision alone. We're not alone here. I look back to the 3 dwarfs that have been accompanying me. I don't know how to write this. Accompanying me. It's good. DM knows. I tell them. I don't ask. Cousins, we have found another cousin in need. And her need is bigger than herself. What do you say? We dwarfs never force each other to do anything we don't all agree. It is the old way. So I ask, what say you? We help, we carry the shard, however perilous that might be. Let's see what my cousins say. I don't want to take the decision alone, but I think we should. Thrain steps forward into the dim light of the cavern, his eyes moving between you and Haella. He scratches his red beard, considering. He turns to Crag and Dern. A silent exchange passes between the three of them, the kind of wordless communication that comes from years of working together in tight spaces and dark tunnels. Crag speaks first, his voice a low rumble. The shard judged her worthy. It judged you worthy. That's 2 votes in favor from the rock itself. He hefts his pickaxe. I'll carry whatever needs carrying. Then nods, his crossbow still held low but ready. I've been a deep delver long enough to know the value of a secured vault. If this outpost can hold the thing safely, that's better than living in a cave with an open door. Thrain turns back to you, a green smile tugging at his lips. We came looking for answers and treasure. Found something heavier than gold, but worth more. He extends his hand to you. We're with you, Belathor. To the outpost and beyond. Haella watches the exchange, something softening in her silver eyes. She gives a single, respectful nod. Your cousins honor the old ways. You're lucky. She limps towards a narrow passage on the far side of the cavern. Follow me. There's a safer route through the crags. One that doesn't involve crawling through cracks or waking anything that shouldn't be woken. She pauses at the entrance, looking back, and Belathor, a faint, wry smile. Welcome to the real work of being a stone seeker. How do you know this? How do you know the stone seeker? What? She disappears into the passage. Your cousins fall in behind you, ready to follow. You follow Haella into the tunnel. What? She knows how we're stone seekers. We never told her we're stone. Is this the knowledge, or is this a dungeon master hallucinating? Now I need to know. I follow her, and as soon as I reach her, I ask, how do you know we are called the Stone Seekers? And why did you say what you said? What is being a stone seeker to you? She has hidden. What is this? Haella pauses mid-stride, her boot hovering over a loose stone. For a long moment she doesn't turn around. Then she does, and there's something unreadable in her pale silver eyes. A flicker of surprise, perhaps, or recognition. I didn't know you were called the Stone Seekers, she says slowly. I said Stone Seeker as a turn of phrase. For someone who digs deeper than they should. Someone who looks for what's hidden, even when the world says they should leave it buried. She studies your face. The seal's whisper taught me many things, but it doesn't tell me everything. The name you choose for yourselves, that's coincidence or fate, depending on what you believe. She resumes walking, her limbs steadying as she finds her rhythm through the narrow stone passage. As for what being a stone seeker means to me, she's quiet for a few steps. It means carrying the weight of knowing. The seal chose to show me its history, its hunger, its prison, and I've spent 7 years deciding whether that knowledge was a gift or a curse. She glances back at you. You touched the shard and it let you live. That means you've been given the same burden I carry. The question is, will you hide from it, Or will you seek the truth of what's buried beneath this world? The passage opens ahead into a wider tunnel, dimly lit by crystals embedded in the ceiling. A faint draft carries the scent of open air. The surface, not far now. I still have questions, so I'm confused. Where did you find the shard? You said you brought it here to test something. But where did you find it? And what was that you found 7 years ago that killed your companions but gave you knowledge? She found the thing 7 years ago, but she says she didn't find the shard 7 years ago. And she said she brought the shard here. Haella stops walking. She places a hand on the cold stone wall and is silent for a long breath. The crystalline light above casts shifting shadows across her scarred face. The shard, she says, I found in a chamber beyond the one you entered. The one with the pedestal. It sat there, untouched, for centuries. I took it from the cradle and brought it to the other cavern 3 years ago, because I needed to see if the stories were true, if it would react to intruders. She turns to face you fully. I set a trap of knowledge. Lured venturers here with whispers planted in the Ember Fort. Those who came with greed in their hearts, the shard drained. Those who came with fear, the shard drained faster. I was testing to see if anyone would pass. You caught their murderer. You killed how many people did you kill? Just bringing to feed the shard. What? Her voice grows quieter. You passed. Well, I'm glad. Or maybe the shard's not hungry anymore. It's eaten 1,000 people that you led here. She looks down the tunnel, then back at you. As for what I found 7 years ago, she touches the scar line on the cheek. My crew and I broke into a chamber that should have remained sealed. It was a relay station, built by the Ebon Conclave in ages past. A place where the seal's power could be spoken, maintained, monitored. She closes her eyes. Inside there was a stone, not like a shard, different, shaped like an anvil but singing. The singing killed my crew. It rewrote their minds in seconds. I survived because I was farthest away, but it still changed me, gave me knowledge I never earned, a map of the seals, names, locations. She opens her eyes, and they seem older now in the dim light. That stone is still there. Collapsed tunnel sealed the chamber after my crew fell. It's buried deeper than anything I can reach alone. She holds your gaze. That's the full truth. The shard you carry, the anvil I found, the conclave silence, they're all connected. And I believe the time for guarding in the shadows is ending. The wind howls faintly from the surface opening ahead. Your cousin stands silently behind you, waiting. Okay. I kinda am tempted to wanna go and visit the stone that gives knowledge. Although it might very well kill me. But hey, the shard accepted me for reasons. Maybe because it's full. Maybe because it ate all the people it needed. And maybe it's gonna eat me tomorrow. But for now, it accepts me. Maybe the anvil accepts me. And I'm a dwarf. Anvils, they really arouse me. It's a thing. It's a known problem that dwarfs have. Anvils, anything related to smithing, makes my stones very hot. So I'm curious. So I need to know, where is this anvil? Could we visit? I think having more of us with the knowledge you have might be useful. And maybe taking the shard to the anvil would teach us something. Maybe. Or release the Balrog. But hey, what can go wrong? I mean... Haella's silver eyes narrow, and for a moment she looks at you with a mixture of caution and intrigue. She shews the inside of her cheek, the scar lines around her jaw catching the light. The Anvil chamber lies beneath the crags, what the old maps call Singing Deep. About 2 days' journey from here, through tunnels that haven't been traveled in decades. She pauses. The collapse I caused 7 years ago sealed the main approach, but there's a secondary route, narrow and stable. I've never taken it alone. She taps her finger against her thigh. Taking the shard there, that's a risk. The Anvil is a maintenance station, not a vault. Bringing the shard close to it might amplify its resonance, might attract attention, or it might unlock something useful, a way to read the seal's intent more clearly, maybe even how to strengthen it. She looks at you, weighing the decision. If we do this, we do it carefully. The shard stays wrapped in lead, if we can find some. How do you wrap things in lead? I mean, lead is it's not properly bubble wrap. We approach quietly, and if anything feels wrong, we leave. She glances at Train, Crag, and Duran behind you. You said it yourself. You don't force each other. This is a choice. What do your cousins say? And what does your gut say, Stoneseeker? The winds moan through the passage ahead, carrying the smell of snow and open sky. The surface is close, but below, the deep waits. I want to go to the deep. I don't want to go to put this thing on a safe place. I want to see if it can unleash the Kraken or learn more or gain the knowledge. Those are way cooler things to do. Okay. Cousins. My gut says the dwarven way is not the playing it safe way. If we're doing this, we do it right. We do it proper. We risk the world if it needs to be risked. For dwarves don't fear death and don't fear killing. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I'm rambling. That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm doing a motivational rambling. We go forth with all our might. And we discover what is hidden. And take all the knowledge and treasures we might find. And we learn about this shard, and we make it sing for us and hear its beautiful song. And we'll see what happens. What say you, cousins? We go forth. I trust my cousins to go forth with me. They are extremely malleable and motivated to just do stupid shit, so I trust them very much. A bit of silence. Then Thrain lets out a barking laugh that echoes through the stone car. By the hammer! He slaps his mailed gauntlet against his shed. That's the belt maker's own fire. I've been waiting to hear a war speech like that since we left Emberfort. Crag grins, a rare sight. His teeth yellowed but his eyes bright. I didn't drag my pickaxe through the wastes to turn back at the first interesting hole in the ground. I say we go. Dern is quieter, but he nods once, firmly, and loads a bolt in his crossbow with a deliberate click. If there's a song to be heard and a treasure to be taken, I'm not missing it. Lead on, Belathor. Haella watches the exchange, and for the first time, something like warmth flickers in her silver eyes. She pulls a wrapped bundle from her pack, a strap of lead-lined cloth, and holds it out to you. Lead-lined cloth. Okay, that makes sense. I was being stupid. Then wrap the shard in this. It'll dampen its resonance while we travel. Once we're in the singing deep, we can decide whether to unveil it. Wait, is this radioactive? Am I gonna get dwarven tumors because of carrying this shard? Too late now, I guess. It can also eat me, which I guess it's worse. She turns and gestures down the passage. We'll need supplies from my camp first. Rope, rations, light, and I know a shallow cave nearby where we can rest before the descent. Ooh, nothing like a shallow cave. She meets your eyes. The Stone Seeker's first real expedition begins now, cousin. The shard in your palm pulses once, warm, as if in agreement. Do you wrap the shard and follow Haella toward the camp? I wrap the shard. How do I feel about this? What does it do to the shard's warmth? Because I feel I'm starting to connect here with the shard. I want to see if the shard likes being wrapped. You take the lead-lined cloth from Haella. The moment it touches the shard, there's a subtle shift. The warm, pulsing glow dims almost to nothing. And the pleasant weight in your palm turns heavy, cold, dead. For a moment, the connection you felt, that strange sense of kinship, of being seen by the stone, flickers and fades. Something quiet in the back of your mind, a hum you didn't realize was there, goes silent. You feel a little emptier, a little more alone. You wrap it tightly, tucking it into a leather pouch Haella provides. The weight presses against your belt, inert. Haella notices your hesitation. It feels like losing a part of yourself, doesn't it? She asks softly. The first time I wrapped mine, I felt blind for a week. The shard's resonance becomes familiar, comforting even. Wrapping it cuts that off, but it's necessary. The deeper tunnels have ears that you can hear a shard song from a mile away. She gives you a knowing look. You'll get used to the silence, and when the time comes to unwrap it, you feel it like a friend returning home. She limps forward into the tunnel towards the surface. The cold wind carries hints of snow on distant stone. What do you mean you wrapped yours? I'm gonna say exactly that. What do you mean you wrapped yours? You also have a shard? You carry it around? How many shards have you found? She said she found the location of 3 shards. She never said she went there and got them. Did she get the shards? Haella stops mid-stride. The wind whips her grey-streaked hair across her face. She turns slowly. There's a long silence. I had one, she says quietly. Found it in the same chamber as the Anvil, 7 years ago. It clung to me for 6 years before I learned to let it go. She pulls open the collar of her leather jerkin, revealing a faint, pale scar over her sternum. Flesh that healed strangely, with a faint crystalline shimmer catching the dim light. It bound itself to me, became part of my heartbeat. I carried it for so long I forgot where I ended and the shard began. It showed me visions, gave me knowledge, but it also drank from me. When I was tired, it made me weaker. When I was afraid, it fed on a fear. She lets the collar fall closed. 3 months ago, I followed a vault in the wastes, an old Conclave reliquary. I performed a ritual to sever the bond. I left a shard there, sealed in a lead-lined box, buried in the sand. It nearly killed me to part with it. She looks at you with exhausted, ancient eyes. So yes, I know what you're carrying. I know what it feels like. And I know what it will cost you if you keep it too long. The winds howl. Your cousins exchange glances behind you. What you this thing is... You know all of this and you don't tell me. You let me just get this emotional attachment to this thing that's gonna eat off of my thorax. What the? God damn it. I have a very... notes. Haella the Stone, shady and careless and doesn't care if I die. She doesn't care if I die. She's very strange. Okay. So, wait. You knew that the shard would eventually do this to me, so it isn't safe for me to just carry it around? It will drink from me. I would like all the informations and all the secondary effects of carrying this shard on my person. Haella holds your gaze, her expression unflinching. I knew the shard could do that. I didn't know it would, not for certain. Every shard is different. Every bearer is different. I needed to see how it reacted to you before I spoke of the cost. She steps closer, her voice dropping. The shard bonded to you faster than it bonded to me. You touched it and it showed you a vision, didn't it? She doesn't wait for an answer. She can see it in your face. It took months for mine to trust me enough for visions. You hunt that in minutes. That means either the shard sees great potential on you, or great hunger. Perhaps both. The shard gives Belathor, but it always asks for something in return. Always. She gestures at the wrapped bundle at your belt. That lead rope will slow the bond. It will keep you safe for the journey, but the longer you carry it, the harder it will be to put it down. Thrain clears his throat. So we're carrying magic rock that slowly eats its owner. And we're taking it closer to the place where it came from. Haella turns to him. Yes, and I won't force any of you to follow. The winds howl, cold and sharp. The surface is maybe 100 feet ahead, daylight visible as a pale grey crack in the stone. So, this sounds healthy. Alright. Time for another beautiful speech, and we go forth. It is only natural for a dwarf to feed on stone and to be the food of stone. We have fed our blood to the stone for centuries, millennia. Even in the old lands from whence we came by boat, we have fed the stone. It is only fair I feed the stone now. I just hope it feeds me too. We go on. Let us go. The sooner, the better. And the sooner the better indeed, apparently. So, I want to go see the Anvil. Want to get the knowledge of the ancient. And want to decide what I do after. Your words hang in the cold air, ancient and resonant as a dwarf chamber's hymn. Thrain's jaw tightens, Crag bows his head, fingers brushing the stone wall as if it's silent prayer. Dern loads another bolt, his movement slower, more deliberate. Haella studies you with renewed respect. You speak like a deep delver who's read the old carvings, she says softly. In the Conclave's prime, they believe the same. That stone and dwarf are one cycle. We carve it, we mine it, we build from it. And in the end, the stone reclaims us. The shards are just a more conscious form of that exchange. She turns and resumes walking, her voice carrying back over her shoulder. Then let's not keep the stone waiting. The passage opens into a narrow canyon, dusk settling over the wastes in bruised purple and greys. Snow-dusted rock stretches to the horizon. 100 feet away, tucked against the cliff face, you see a small camp, a low tent, the remains of a fire, and the mule tethered to a spike. Haella's camp, supplies, shelter, and beyond it, the entrance to the singing deep, hidden somewhere in the crags to the north. The wind bites cold. The shard is silent and heavy against your belt. I go to the camp and rest. I want to eat and prepare to the journey ahead. Perhaps spend the night if time allows. I want then to talk with Haella and ask if the Conclave knows what caused the Umbra, and if the shards and the thing that is sealed is related to it. And how old is the Conclave? Is it older than the Umbra? Okay, so we go, we rest, we eat, we sleep, likely, if we can, and then we go and I get more answers. You lead the way down the slope towards Haella's camp. The mule, a scuffy, grey-bearded creature with a patient eye, lifts its head briefly as you approach, then snorts and returns to nibbling at a patch of brittle scrub grass. The camp is modest. A low slang cover stands pinned against the cliff, a ring of blackened stones surrounding cold ash, a bedroll, and a crate lashed with rope. Haella sets about rekindling the fire with practiced, worn-in motions, while your cousins drop their packs and stretch into the deep groans of dwarfs who've walked too long. An hour later, you're seated around a crackling fire. The wind has died down, and the wastes stretch dark under a canopy of emerging stars. Tin cups of herbal tea, bitter but warming, steam in your hands. Dern is sharpening his crossbow's edge. What is the edge of a crossbow? Of the arrows, I hope? Don't sharpen your crossbow. Crag is carving a piece of driftwood in something unrecognizable. Thrain is polishing his helm, humming an old deep Delver chant. You sit beside Haella, the firelight carving deep shadows across her scarred face. The Umbra, she repeats, surprised by the question. She steers the fire with a stick, watching embers pile upward. The Conclave was old when the Umbra fell. Established in the heyday of old Brightvale, 6 centuries before the Red Star appeared in the sky. Maybe longer. I found Conclave outposts that predate Brightvale's founding by 1,000 years. She pauses. The Conclave didn't cause the Umbra, but they saw it coming. Certain fragments suggest they knew something was wrong with the deep places of the world, decades before the Red Star appeared. They were trying to prevent it. She leans forward, voice dropping. The shards, the one you carry, the one the seal is made of, they're older than the Umbra, older than Brightvale, older than the Conclave. The Conclave was founded to study and protect them. I think the Umbra was a rupture, a crack in something the Conclave had spent centuries trying to keep sealed. The Red Star was a symptom, not the cause. She looks at you, firelight dancing in her silver eyes. The thing that's sealed under the mountain. I believe it's what the Conclave was protecting the world from. Not a god, a prisoner. And the Umbra was the day the prison nearly broke. The fire crackles. Your cousins are still, I've gone still, listening. So you think that opening caused the Umbra? And that it wasn't a full release of what's down there. If just a crack caused this, what would a full release cause? I mean, from what I understand, the Umbra is like this shadowy thing that covers an entire world, where in Brightvale is One of the few places where we are safe from it. Is that just a crack? Jesus. Haella stares into the fire for a long time. When she speaks, her voice is barely above the crackling flames. I've seen fragments of Conclave records, carvings, scripts written in languages I had to dream to understand. Dreams the shard gave me. She looks up. They're called Umbra. They called the Umbra the day the sky wept bones. Ooh. They describe the red star not as a cause, but as a lighthouse. A beacon lit somewhere far beneath the world, announcing a breach. The death mist, the stone plague, the screaming winds that flayed flesh from bone, all of it was leakage, energy blending through from the prisoner's realm. She picks up a twig and snaps it. If a full release happened, she tosses the broken pieces into the fire. The world wouldn't end in fire. It would end in forgetting. The mountains would forget how to stand. The rivers would forget how to flow. Dwarves would forget their own names, their craft, their stone songs. The prisoners wouldn't destroy the world. It wouldn't make it, piece by piece, until nothing is left but raw, silent chaos. She meets your eyes. That's what the Conclave was holding back. And they failed. Not completely. The seal held, but the cracks are spreading. The shards are surfacing, and I think the reason the Conclave went silent isn't because they abandoned their posts, but because something in the dark picked them off, one outpost at a time. Thrain sets down his helm. So we're walking towards a prison that ate an ancient order of mages and stone singers, carrying a key that may or may not make things worse. He looks at you. Belathor, you're either the bravest dwarf I've ever marched with, or the maddest. The fire pops. The mule brays softly in the dark. The singing deep waits somewhere along the crags to the north. Alright. I can be both. Can't I? Brave and mad. And proud of it. If something sings, the dwarfs follow. Especially if it's slow, if it's stone. Okay. Let us sleep, cousins. A long day awaits tomorrow. And sleep we shall. We have time around the journey for me to make more questions. Alright. A low rumble of laughter. Jesus, I don't know how to speak. A low rumble of laughter runs through the camp. Thrain shakes his head, grinning. Crag claps a hand on your shoulder, a heavy, meaty thump. Dern lifts his crossbow in a silent salute. Aye, Thrain says, settling back against his pack. You can be both. And by the stone singer's armor, I'd rather march with a mad dwarven than a cautious one. Haella banks the fire, kicking sand over the edges until the flame settles into a low, steady glow. I'll take first watch. Sleep while you can. The singing deep has a way of stealing rest from those who enter it unprepared. The night settles over the camp. The wastes stretch into darkness under a cold canopy of unfamiliar stars. The shard is silent at your belt, heavy and dreaming. Hours pass, you sleep, and you dream. You stand in a vast circular chamber. The walls are worked stone, impossibly smooth, carving with spiraling runes that glow with faint silvery light. At the center of the chamber, a massive anvil rises, shaped from obsidian and veiled with lines of shimmering crystal. A figure stands beside it, a dwarf woman, ancient beyond counting, her beard white as snow, her eyes pale silver like Haella's. She raises a hammer and brings it down on the anvil. The blow makes no sound, but the runes on the wall sing, a deep, resonant chord that vibrates through your bones, your teeth, your soul. She looks at you. Her lips move, but you hear her voice inside your skull. You carry a piece of my work, child of stone. Bring it home. Let the deep remember its song. She raises the hammer again. You wake to cold morning light and the smell of Haella's tea brewing. The dream clings to you like frost. Dawn in the wastes, the singing deep awaits. Damn. So apparently here, old dwarven ladies also have beards. Jesus. Old dwarf lady saying to me to bring her back her. Bring home the stone that she made, so... An old dwarf lady made the shards to seal the creature thingy-wingy that just by being slightly open created the whole Umbra? Jesus. I mean, this is a level 1 campaign. God damn it, I'm not supposed to save. I'm level 1. How am I supposed to save the world as a level 1 dwarf? I can't barely fight a bear. How will I fight giant Umbras in the Ebon Conclave and the darkness? I guess I'll die. It's fine. Okay, early morning. I drink the tea and prepare for the journey. I want to start going as soon as possible and make haste to get there. So we're going to find the Anvil and likely die trying. You drink the tea, bitter, earthy, with a hint of something metallic that lingers in your tongue, and it warms you from the inside out. The dream is still fresh in your mind, the ancient dwarf's voice echoing, "Bring it home, let the Dilp remember its song." The camp is already stirring. Crag is repacking the mule, Dern checks his crossbow mechanism with practiced care, Thrain is stretching, cracking his neck with a series of sharp pops. Haella kicks sand over the fire's embers and rolls her tent with efficient, one-handed movements. No one speaks much. There's a weight in the air, the knowledge that today you descend. Within the hour, the camp is packed and the mule laden. Haella leads you north through a maze with wind-carved canyons, past stone pillars shaped like frozen giants, until the ground begins to slope downwards and the rocks change. The rock changes, darker, smoother, veined with quartz that catches the pale morning light. She stops at a narrow cleft in the cliff, barely wide enough for a dwarf to pass sideways. "The singing deep," she says quietly. 2 days down if we push. The Anvil chamber lies at the bottom. A low hum emanates from the darkness within, barely audible, felt more in the chest than heard through the ears. It rises and falls like a breath. The shard at your belt stirs faintly, a pulse of warmth cutting through the lead-lined wrap. The deep is waiting. I go forth, leading the way and making as fast a pace as I think we can keep pushing. Let's go forth. See what the deep has to give us. You step into the cleft without hesitation. The darkness swallows you, thick and cool, smelling of ancient dust and cold stone. Behind you, your companions follow in a single file. Thrain's heavy boots, Dern's lighter step, Crag's steady breathing, and Haella's uneven gait bringing up the rear with the mule shuffling behind. The passage narrows, then widens, then narrows again. Natural stone gives way to worked walls, rough at first, then smoother, bearing the unmistakable marks of dwarf masonry. Faded carvings line the walls, spirals, geometric patterns, and stylized hammers that catch your fingers as you trail them along the stone. The hum grows stronger as you descend. It vibrates through the soles of your boots, through the stone around you, through your very teeth. After 3 hours of steady descent, the passage opens into a wide gallery. The ceiling rises 40 feet overhead, supported by massive pillars carved with intertwining roots and runes. A pale, phosphorescent moss clings to the pillars, casting the chamber in a dim, blue-green glow. At the far end, 3 tunnels branch off into darkness. Haella catches up, breathing hard. The central passage leads deeper, she says, pointing with her good hand. The left and right were supply routes, collapsed centuries ago, but the central path, it's not straight. The deep twists and turns. We'll need to watch for warning signs. The conclave mark dangerous passages. The hum here is louder, almost musical. 3 passages. Haella says center is the way, but the carving on the walls differ between the 3 tunnels. Left tunnel's arch is carved with interlocking circles, cracked and worn. Center tunnel's arch bears a single hammer and anvil symbol, well preserved. Right tunnel's arch has no carving at all, just smooth dark stone. Do you trust Haella's knowledge and take the center passage, or do you examine the others first? I see an anvil and a hammer, and remember my dream. Without hesitation, I go into the center arch and push ahead. No hesitation here. I'm a dwarf, not the thinker. What do you it's do. It's just do, no think. You stride towards the center arch without breaking pace. The hammer and anvil carving looms above you as you cross the threshold, and just for a moment, a flicker. The carved stone seems to glow faintly silver as you pass beneath it. The tunnel beyond is wider and taller than the approach. The walls are smooth, almost polished, and the phosphorescent moss grows thicker here, casting the passage in an eerie, steady luminescence. The hum is clearer now, definitely a melody, low and resonant, like a stone organ playing a single chord 1,000 miles away. Behind you, your cousins file in. Thrain lets out a low whistle. This is old work. Whew. Conclave era. Maybe older. Haella nods, a silver eye scanning the walls. We're on the right path. The descent continues for another hour. The passage slopes steadily downward, occasionally broken by staircases carved directly into the stone. Every now and then, you pass a niche on the wall containing a small crystal, dark and inert, but clearly placed deliberately. Then the tunnel opens abruptly into a vast cavern. It takes a moment for your eyes to adjust. The cavern is enormous, easily 100 feet across and 50 feet high. The floor is a perfect circle of smooth, dark stone, inlaid with a massive spiral pattern that gleams faintly silver. At the center of the spiral rests a stone pedestal, waist high, carved with the same interlocking rings that you saw on the left tunnel arch. The hum here is everywhere. It vibrates in your chest, your skull, your very bones. On the pedestal sits something that catches the dim light. A small, disc-shaped object, no larger than your palm. Made of the same obsidian crystal material as your shard. It's whole, unbroken. Haella's breath catches. That's not supposed to be here. The chamber is silent except for the hum. The object on the pedestal gleams. Whew, okay. Jesus. I think this is a good moment to end this episode with this disc-shaped UFO on top of a pedestal that is made of the same material of my shard, which might want to eat me apparently. Both the shard and this object and everything. Everything wants to consume my soul in here. Damn. Okay, this was heavy in terms of narration. There was no combat, there was almost anything, but Jesus, we went through a lot here. We learned a lot. We're starting a whole new giant adventure to save the world, to make sure something is not released. As for level 1, I don't know what level she is, but I'm level 1. So this is, God, this is really interesting. Good job, Dungeon Master, making the cool story. I want to know more, so this is cool. Neat. Alright, I'm gonna rest and maybe make a tea. All this reading about Haella's teas made me want to drink some tea. Well, thank you so much for joining as I explore the endlessness and the Stone Seekers campaign. And yeah, join me again next week. so that we keep exploring and know what the hell this is and keep unveiling this giant thing with the Ebon Conclave and all of the things and the things that are sealed in the deep. I'm honestly super curious to find out about all of this, so it's actually a joy to make these videos. And yeah, next week's is more. If you want to try the Endlessness, go to theendlessness.com, try it yourself, start your own adventure, see what you find. Every time I play this, something new happens, some new stories, so it's really endlessness, the amount of things you can do here and the stories that you experience. So if you want to go experience your own tales, go for it, be your own dwarf or wizard or whatever you want to be, go on your own adventure. And next week, join me on my adventure. Let's do this together and see what else happens. Well, thank you so much. Bye.